Do you know what your net worth is? Do you know how to calculate it? Do you know what your spending habits are and how money flows through your life? Most people don't. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what they are and show you how to calculate them. And I'm actually going to show you a free tool that you can use to calculate your net worth and track it over the years. Hi, my name's Will. This channel is all about financial independence, financial literacy, and sharing my journeys to financial independence with you guys. So if you're interested in all that, make sure you subscribe down below and be sure to leave me a comment with where you are on the path to financial independence yourself. So why is this step so important? Well, if you are starting on the path to financial independence, this should be step one, because for you to know where you're coming from and make goals and track your progress of where you're going in the future, this is where you have to start. Tracking your net worth should really be your first step because, first of all, it's pretty simple and that's where we're starting because it's so simple, but also because that is a very humbling experience for some people. You know, some people I've worked with that never had calculated it before either overestimated or underestimated their own net worth. So that is really where you begin. That's your foundation. That's how you make goals for the future and track to know if you're progressing forward or still sliding backward with debt. With your spending, if you don't understand your expenses and know how money flows through your life, it is going to be very hard for you to really change your relationship with money. If you don't understand those, it's going to be very difficult to maintain the path to financial independence and to reach your goals. So it really is the first step. Once you understand that, the whole rest of the journey will be more simple for you. So let's start with net worth because it's pretty simple to figure out really. It's actually just your assets minus your liabilities. Now that in itself sounds really simple. For some people it is, for others not so much. The problem is, what do you count as an asset? Because some people count their vehicles. I personally don't. Vehicles depreciate too quickly for me. But you may decide to do that. You can do your own research and decide what you value enough to count as an asset. Baseline though, it should really just be what either makes you money or has value that you own. So your house, any investments you have to include your retirement accounts, and any other thing that you hold that might have value to it. Your liabilities are anything that you still owe money on, what takes money out of your life. So all your debt is going to be your liabilities. You add the assets minus liabilities and that's your net worth. I have a tool, again, it's down below, that you can put all this into and track it. And that really is what you do with net worth. It is your foundation, where you're starting from, and it's what you track and make goals on over the long term. So if you are in your 20s and your net worth is above zero, you're already ahead of the curve. A Bankier article actually talked about, people under 35 have a median net worth of $11,000. People in their 20s tend to have a net worth of negative, below zero somewhere. That's a lot of times due to student debt, but it also just be because it's hard to get started nowadays, and it's really easy to get debt very early, and we live in a culture where that's acceptable. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. But you're already ahead of the curve regardless. So if you are in the negative, you're already ahead of the curve right now because you're educating yourself. You're watching this video to start building your net worth and building your path to financial independence. So regardless of which side of the fence you fall on, don't beat yourself up too much. So just for, transparency and sort of so you know where I'm coming from, I'm 26 years old, and 2019 is the first year that I reached a positive net worth. If you already have a positive net worth and you're already growing it, that's awesome. So once you have a net worth, you can start making goals. To really start improving it, that's whenever you start tracking your spending. Now, whenever I say spending, a lot of times I'm actually going to be saying money flow. It's the same thing. Money flow is a fancy term for tracking your income and expenses. But I like using money flow whenever people are first starting because it helps them understand the flow of money through their life, their relationship with money. And that really is the first thing that has to change for some people. They're so used to the consumerist society, the way that we view money has always been there as long as we can get somebody to give it to us. That they really do need to change how they think about it and start to think about money as something that can work for them, not something they have to work for. It's a really important concept, and money flow helps get some people's mind around it. Eventually, maybe I'll make a video on just that because you can really go in depth there, and I'll talk about that more in the future. So the first step really is just to understand your income. For some people, this is going to be super simple, and so if you're one of those like, well, that's easy, I have one job. Hey, that's awesome because that's one less thing you have to worry about. There might be other people that are in different situations that do have other sources of income. I have also found that tracking your income for those people that have side gigs, maybe multiple side gigs, really helps them know where to optimize. So if you sit down every once in a while and think about, okay, this is how much money or how much time, time I spend on each side gig, and this is how much it's producing, you can kind of know where you need to put your focus, right? You know maybe what to give up on, what to build, put more energy into building, things like that. So it can really help you out. So now that you have your income down, you're going to start tracking your spending, tracking your expenses. So the really important part of this is to do this for 30 to 60 days, but do it without judgment, okay? Whether you're doing this alone or with a partner, do not judge yourself, do not judge them. For that first stint of just tracking and deciding where your money is going, it's really important to do it absolutely just analytically. Write it down, track it through a service, whatever you got to do, but do it without judgment. So a side note on the different services and ways to track, I don't want to recommend one yet because I'm in the process of trying out multiple pieces of software that already exist and testing my own that I built, my own tool that I built to track expenses. Whatever's easiest for the family is what I'm going to begin to recommend so that you guys kind of know what is easiest to get started with. Sometimes the easiest way is just to save your receipts and write them down every day. Do whatever you've got to do, but just start tracking for 30 to 60 days. Another really important point is to do this without judgment. Whether you're doing this on your own or with a partner, don't judge yourself, don't judge them. This is a completely analytical exercise. You are already going to cut some expenses naturally because it's it's observation bias. You're watching it, you're tracking it, so now it's going to change a little bit. You might not spend on certain things. So sort of a trick is to track and then go back and try to find a few expenses that you had cut out naturally before that. But either way, just do it without any judgment because this is just your starting point. This is where you're going to begin your path. If you get anxious and you're beating yourself up, you're beating your partner up, you're going to fight with them, and it's going to be a lot harder to keep going. This is just an analytical exercise. Think about it like that, and then you can move forward. So once you get that down though, you can start looking at your money flow, looking at your expenses. You can start identifying your relationship with money. What spending habits lead to overspending in areas you don't value? Can you save money by bringing your lunch to work? Can you save money by not buying that pop or piece of candy every day at lunch or on your break? Things like that. Then you can start building budget, you can start making optimizations and start changing the way you react with money. So what's next? Now you've got your net worth and you have your foundation. You know where you're starting from and you know how to begin planning for the future, for the long term. Then you've got your spending. You're starting to identify where your spending habits need to be improved, where you can make optimizations, and how you can improve your net worth and how you can reach those net worth goals. So obviously the next step is going to be to build a budget or maybe start making optimizations in the low-hanging fruit really quickly. If you're interested in the budget in that same tool I mentioned before, it's got a budget in there. There's other resources too though. So if budgeting is difficult for you, I also have an article that is, it's got some ideas in there for families, people with multiple income sources and multiple expenses. They're tips and tactics that we actually use, my wife and I, in our budget every month, every year. And they really do help. So I'll put that down below as well. There's all kinds of resources out there, so never think you're alone. One of the big goals here is to create a community for support. So anytime you need something, just ask. And the question of the day is, were you already budgeting? Have you ever budgeted before? Let me know down below. I'd really be interested. And if you do end up using my tool, let me know how it is. Let me know if it's user-friendly, if there's anything I can improve on it. So next, after budgeting, you get your budget set up, you've got your expenses and you're doing your optimizations, you know what your net worth is and the goals you want to achieve with your net worth. Next, it's really building your credit. Now, credit should not cost you money to build. It is free to build credit. It is also going to make you money. So with understanding those two things, you need to get started, but not to spend money. I have an article about it already. Eventually, I will have a video that I'll link once I get it. But that is really going to be your next couple steps. Now that you understand that, the other thing you can do and what you can do in the meantime is honestly just education. Education is going to pay dividends. You're already ahead of the curve because you're watching videos. You're consuming content that is improving your financial literacy. So if you want to improve that a little bit more, I have a whole list of books down below that will really change the way you think about money. They may change your relationship with money and can really help you understand what it is you're trying to achieve. So I definitely recommend trying to get your hand on those and start educating yourself while you're working on all these other tasks. This is the beginning of a series that will really be walking you step by step how to follow me and travel the path to financial independence with me. So I really look forward to it. If you like this content, be sure to subscribe down below if you're not already. While you're down there, leave me a like because I'm a small channel and every bit of likes and comments helps YouTube to know that I'm putting out good content. Also, if you're a new subscriber, be sure to let me know what number of subscribers you are. Right now, I don't have very many, and the first 100 are the hardest to get. And I really want to remember exactly who helped me get there. So please leave that down below. I really do appreciate it when you guys do that. And let me know what you want to see next. Thanks, and I'll talk to you guys next time.